What is up, guys? So, what's the difference between being a crackhead and a smackhead? Now, they say that if you practice something over and over again for something like, I think it's like 6,000 hours, they say that you become an expert in it. Well, I've been practicing drugs for over 20 years, so I'm like a professor. You know, I'm kind of like Batman at this point. I'm also going to talk about what the true cost of addiction is. You know, it might get emotional. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Now, it's fascinating really, because crack and cocaine is like, if you're out around town, railing a couple lines in the toilets, having a drink, then that is socially acceptable. You know, it's people that do it are looked upon as probably like cool or hip, you know. But if you smoke crack, then you're like a loser, or you're a dosser, you're a crackhead. And yet it's the same drug. So why is it one's acceptable and one isn't? Because cocaine is just like the powder form. If you snort a couple lines and go around town, then you're having it in the powder form, you're sniffing it up your nose. But if you wash it up, and washing it up, I don't really remember how you do it. I used to know, but I can't remember now. I've seen it done a few times. You just take cocaine, you dissolve it in water and heat it up and add bicarbonate of soda or something, and then it all clings together, and then you let it dry and it becomes crack, it becomes a rock, and you just break pieces off the rock, put it on a pipe and smoke it. But it's two different ways of doing it. It's the same drug. One's acceptable and one isn't. Now when you sniff it, you can go out, have a laugh, go around town, do a bit of dancing, but when you smoke it, it's like, it's all at once, you know. Like if you sniff it, it'll last a couple hours, but if you smoke it, it's like intense, straight to your brain, or it used to be. Nowadays it's like 2% pure. But back in the day, you would lick a pipe and it'd be boom, intense, like whoa, this is ace, and then 10 seconds later it's wearing off. So then boom, you have to have another one, and then it wears off, and then when it's all gone, you're left like wired, you know, paranoid and sweating and feeling like crap. So then you have to go and find it, and that's when drug addicts start doing crazy things. Like for me, I was shoplifting, you know. I was not condoning this behaviour, but I used to go shoplifting, I used to steal from office buildings, you know, and you do get people like snatching old women's handbags and stuff like that. I've never used violence, I've never done anything like that, but I have stolen from shops and buildings, and you know, that's because of the crack. And I can't speak for everyone, obviously, but a lot of people will take that crack, smoke it, and then they'll be chasing it, and then when it runs out, that's when they start doing the crazy stuff. So I guess that's why it's looked upon as unacceptable. But if you sniff it and go around town, it's the same drug, you know. It's fascinating. But crack for me is probably the worst, you know. It's probably the worst, because heroin, you can at least, I mean, heroin's bad, but with crack, you're likely to do more crazy things, especially when you throw Valium and alcohol into it. I mean, I've done things what I would never do if I was sober. But yeah, that's what it does. That's crack. And then there's heroin. Now heroin's the same, you know. You end up doing crazy things. It ravishes your body, and you have to wake up in the morning. You have to, as soon as you wake up, you know, you start feeling ill, so you have to get money. So then you go chasing the money. You end up robbing shops, stealing things. You start losing weight. It ravishes your body. Women turn to prostitution. So they're both really, really bad. But then if you start putting them together, then you need twice as much money, and that's when things go down really fast. I can remember when I was clean and sober, I started using again, and I thought, oh, I'll have a pipe, it's just the weekend, you know, I'll be alright. And then before you know it, like 3 months later, boom, everything's gone. Job, money, everything, you know. And that's the thing with me, I've lost everything through addiction, and that is the true cost. What does it cost? It costs everything. Everything I've ever had has gone because of addiction. I've built it all back up and then lost it all again. And the only thing I've really got left is my life, you know, and I'm sure that'll be cut short as well because of years of drug abuse, you know. And that's the reality of addiction. And I know when you get to my age, you start thinking about death, you know. You start thinking about, oh no, look at all the things I'm going to leave behind. And people are scared of dying. But I'm not like that, you know. I've already lost everything I've got, so I don't care about dying, to be honest. And I don't want to sound like whiny or depressing, but the truth is that I don't care about death. I'm looking forward to it, if I'm honest, because I just don't feel like I fit in, you know. I don't feel like I belong. Like, if you put me in a prison or on the streets with all the bums and the winos, I'll fit in, but put me in normal social settings and I struggle. And I've got so much trauma from years as a drug addict, anxiety, and you know, and so to me, death is welcome. You know, I can't wait until I pop off. Hopefully I get reincarnated as somebody else. See, as somebody better. I made my peace a long time ago with dying when I was suicidal. And that's what addiction pushed me to. I was massively overweight. I was an alcoholic. I was smoking crack. I was on like 5 different pills. I was on 100 ml of Valium a day at least. And I got to a point where I just couldn't take it anymore. You know, I was waking up in the morning. I was like, for fuck's sake. And I just didn't want to be here anymore. And that's when I made my peace with dying. And I've had 2 pretty serious attempts on my life. And it is a bit cloudy because I was on Valium, you know, I was an alcoholic, so it is a bit cloudy. But from what I remember, the first time it was amitriptyline, you know. I thought, right, that's it, I've had enough, can't cope anymore. I was daydreaming about sewer pipes day in, day out, and I thought, that's it, I've had enough, no more. So I took the first time, I can't remember what I was drinking, I think it was a strong beer. And I took a full box of really strong amitriptyline, which I think it was 60 tablets. I could be wrong, it might have been 30, but it was either 30 or 60 tablets. I just took the lot, drank beer, and that night was, it was weird, and obviously I didn't die, but I was like, I'd be sat in the corner talking to someone who wasn't there. And then I'd like come to, and I'd be like, there's no fucker there, is there? And then I'd open my eyes and I'd be sat staring at the wall in the corner. And then I'd be like, fucking hell, what are you doing? And then I'd drift back into that place again, and I'd be talking to someone who went there, and I'd be like, fucking, there's no one there, is there? And then I'd be in another room on the floor. I'd be like, wow. And that's what it was like. I was passing out all over the house. And then I woke up the next morning. And then the second time is probably the real worst one. That's when I just, my plan was, the only reason I'm here now is because I planned it wrong. You know, I got the calculations wrong. My plan was I'm going to drink a bottle of vodka. I bought a load of morphine. I was going to drink the vodka, take the morphine, numb my body, and then I had loads of paracetamol what I was just going to eat, and then just, that's it, off, wherever. And I drank the vodka too fast because I thought, well, you know, the faster I drink it, the more pissed I'll be, the better, you know, the easier it'll be. So I drank the vodka really fast, and then I couldn't see, you know, I was like so drunk. I was like seeing 2s and 3s of everything. And as I was popping the morphine out, there was like flipping out, going on the floor, and I'm picking them up and falling on the floor, and it was a right mess. And by the time I'd finally got all the morphine out, it took that long to do it that there was kicking in. So then I was just like picking up the paracetamol, and there was falling all over, and I just fell on the floor, just face planted, and was unconscious. And then the next morning I woke up, it was sick everywhere. It was like a movie script, a movie scene. There was pills all over, sick everywhere. And as soon as I opened my eyes, I was like, no, please, no. I just couldn't believe it. I was devastated, I thought. And I remember saying out loud, what do you want from me? You know, I don't know who I was talking to. I was just, you won't let me live, you won't let me die. What do you want me to do? I was just so at the end of my rope. And then, but that's what triggered me to start getting clean, you know. That's when I said, right, that's it now. I've got to get clean. I'm dying anyway because it's not safe to stop alcohol. and Valium, stop dead. You know, it's not advisable to do that, but I didn't have time to taper down, so I just thought, well, that's it, I'm going to stop, I'm dying anyway, so I'm just going to go down fighting. And, and that's what I did. I went through the detox, and it was horrible. I was hurting in ways that I can't even explain it. It was that bad. But I got through it, and that's what leads me to today, you know, and that's why I make videos now, to show you that you can recover, you know, because there's nobody any worse than I was. I was an absolute mess. But yeah, that's the true cost of addiction. It costs everything, and then when you've got nothing left, it takes some more, you know. And like I say, I'm sure I'm going to die young because of the abuse from my body over the years from drugs. I think my only saving grace is that I didn't use needles. I've never used needles. But my lungs are, I mean, I have to take deep breaths now and again, but considering what I've been through, I suppose they're not in that bad a shape. But yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's the video for today. What does addiction cost? Everything. It's like, a good way of putting it is, it's like being chased by the Terminator, you know. You can sometimes fight him off, you know. He's relentless, just come in and come in and come in. And you know, you might put up a stand now and again, fight him off, you know, throw a few grenades, blow him up. But they'll keep coming and coming, and you keep putting it off, and you just have to learn to live with it, you know. You have to control your mind. I've convinced myself now that if I ever use again, because people always say, well, how do you not use now? Because once it's up here, it's up here. And what I've done is I've convinced myself that if I use ever again, that's it, I'm dead. You know, and I only have to use once, and that's it, I'm dead. And and also I think, you know, what it'd be like waking up tomorrow if I did use now. All that hard work, all that shit, all that misery, all that pain, you know, counts for nothing. So that's how I stop myself from using. But I do feel like using now and again. But as soon as it comes in, I'm like, nope, can't do it. And that's the best way I can explain it. But anyway, my dog's whining. I'm going to let him out of his cage. He's been in for the night. I've just got up. But anyway, that's the video for today. If you like this video, press the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Bonjour.